The walls of the Galactic Patrol Station on Center Prime were cold and metallic. Every sound echoed. Footsteps, doors sliding open, even quiet breathing. It was a place designed to make anyone feel small, powerless, and afraid. But the human sitting calmly at the center of Interrogation Room 4 didn't seem nervous at all. His name was Jackson Miles, a Terran explorer captured near the restricted outer border. He wore a simple jacket, dusty boots, and had a half smile on his face, as if he didn't care that he was deep inside alien territory, surrounded by armed officers. Alien Officer Xarvek, a tall and sharp-scaled creature from the Zenari species, stood on the other side of the glass wall, observing the human through narrowed eyes. "He doesn't even look concerned," he growled. The patrol commander beside him nodded. He said he's just exploring, but he passed 4 checkpoints without setting off a single alarm. "That's not possible," Xarvek replied. "He has no weapons, no armor, no ship signature. He just walked in." Xarvek entered the room. The door hissed shut behind him, locking with a solid clunk. He stared at the human, who looked up and gave a small nod, like they were about to have coffee instead of an interrogation. "State your name and reason for entering restricted center space," Xarvek demanded. Jackson leaned back, folding his hands behind his head. "Name's Jackson Miles. I'm an explorer. I like seeing what the universe hides." "This is not an exploration zone," Xarvek said sharply. "This is classified territory under Galactic Code 49.7. You are trespassing." Jackson raised his eyebrows. "Didn't see any do not enter signs out there." Xarvek didn't laugh. He moved closer, scanning the human with his biometric lens. It flashed red. "Odd," he muttered. "No weapons, no tech, and yet you survived passing through volcanic zones and gravity mines." "Terran legs," Jackson grinned, lifting one boot, "built for walking." But Xarvek's eyes narrowed when his scanner showed something else. A strange shape inside the human's pants, near the hip. A bulge. Xarvek froze. "Security," he barked through his comm. "We have a concealed object. Possible hidden device. Initiate containment." Red lights flashed. The walls of the room shifted, sealing tighter. Armed drones appeared at the corners, and one hovered above Jackson with a focused beam. Jackson lifted his hands, still relaxed. "Whoa, easy, fellas. It's not what you think." Xarvek stepped back. "Remove it. Now." Jackson sighed. "You're going to feel really silly in a second." With slow hands, he reached into the side pocket of his pants. The drones charged weapons. But instead of a weapon, Jackson pulled out a small folded object the size of a Terran wallet. It clicked open. Inside were strange-looking tools, tiny compartments, and a small screen. "What is that?" Xarvek asked. "It's a Terran survival kit," Jackson said. "Model XS-12. You'd be surprised what you can fit in one of these." Xarvek leaned closer. There was a foldable water purifier, a solar charge pack, a micro-solder, and even a tiny drone that unfolded like a butterfly. Jackson pressed a button, and the little drone buzzed to life, rising into the air with blinking blue lights. What is this?" Xarvek muttered. Jackson tossed the kit gently onto the table. "It's how I crossed your dangerous zones. Filtered lava gas for water, patched up my clothes with the micro-welder, and used the drone to map patrol paths. Pretty clever, right?" The alien officer was speechless for a moment. "This device is unauthorized galactic tech," he finally said. "Nope," Jackson shrugged. "It's not galactic. It's Earth-made. We build small, smart, and tough." The alien officer tapped his comm again. "Tech division. Get down here. Bring scanners." As he waited, Xarvek studied Jackson, more curious now than angry. "You mean to tell me you crossed restricted zones, survived toxic areas, and entered a military compound with that thing in your pants?" Jackson gave him a smirk. Told you. It's not what you thought it was. Moments later, tech officers entered and carefully scanned the survival kit. They looked amazed. One whispered, "This little filter can clean sulfur acid into drinkable water." Another added, "The power cell is self-recharging. Efficient. We've never seen such compact adaptability." Zarvek's mind was racing. How many more humans carried tech like this? How many could slip past sensors? How many had? He sat down across from Jackson and looked at him differently this time. Not like a prisoner, but like a mystery. "What are you really doing here, Jackson Miles?" The human leaned forward, smile fading just a little. "I'm not here to fight," he said seriously. "I'm here to find something. Or someone." "Who?" "You wouldn't believe me if I told you," Jackson replied. "But I can tell you this. If the Galactic Council knew what I found, they'd never let it stay buried." Zarvek didn't answer. His eyes moved once again to the folded kit on the table. A simple item, harmless looking. But in human hands, even the simplest thing became something powerful. And that unnerved him. The small room where Jackson was held felt even smaller now. Zarvek sat on a metal chair, staring at the strange survival kit that Jackson had pulled from his pants. The galactic tech officers stood nearby, carefully examining every tool and device inside it. "This is unlike anything in the galactic inventory," said one technician, her antennae twitching in surprise. "The materials are strong but incredibly light, and the design is compact, more efficient than most multi-tools we have." Zarvek glanced at Jackson. "You claim this is a simple survival kit?" Jackson nodded. "Yep. It's made for humans to carry anywhere. Planets, space stations, even hostile environments. You never know what might happen out there." The officer frowned. "But why carry it in your pants? Why hide it?" Jackson chuckled softly. "I wasn't hiding it. It's just practical. When you're walking across unknown worlds, you want your hands free and your tools close." Zarvek shook his head, unsure whether to trust the human or be more suspicious. "What else do you have with you?" Zarvek asked. Jackson reached into a small pouch tied around his waist and pulled out a thin, flat device. "This is my universal translator," Jackson explained. "It helps me understand and speak many languages, like yours." Zarvek studied the device. It looked simple but clearly very advanced. "Where did you get this?" "Made on Earth," Jackson replied. "Humans are pretty good at building useful tech." The tech officers murmured among themselves, impressed by the quality of the human devices. "Your equipment suggests a well-planned mission," Zarvek said slowly. "Not a simple explorer." Jackson smiled. "I guess you could say that. I'm looking for a missing Terran scout team." Zarvek's eyes widened. "Missing? We have no records of any Terran scouts near this sector." Jackson's smile faded. "That's because their mission was kept secret, and many want it to stay secret." The officer leaned forward. "Explain." Jackson looked around carefully, then lowered his voice. "Years ago, Terran Command sent a team to investigate old battle sites in this area. There were rumors of dangerous technology buried underground, technology banned by the Galactic Council." Zarvek's gaze darkened. "You mean the war experiments? The forbidden weapons?" Jackson nodded. "Yes, the scouts vanished. Nobody knows what happened to them. I'm here to find out." The room grew quiet. One of the tech officers whispered, "If what you say is true, this could be a major violation of galactic law." Zarvek stood up, his tail flicking nervously. Why would a human risk entering this dangerous zone alone? Jackson looked determined. "Because sometimes the truth needs to be found, no matter the risk." Zarvek walked over to the glass window that separated the interrogation room from the control room. He looked out into the bustling station where officers monitored distant planets and patrols. "How did you manage to get this far?" Zarvek asked without turning around. Jackson shrugged. A mix of human stubbornness, my survival kit, and a bit of luck. Zarvek smiled for the first time. Humans are strange. You don't have the strongest weapons, but you find a way. Jackson grinned. That's what we do. Suddenly, the door hissed open, and 2 Galactic Council officers entered. Their uniforms were marked with high ranks. Zarvek bowed his head respectfully. Counselors. One of them, a tall figure with silver skin and piercing eyes, looked directly at Jackson. You are the human causing a stir in our space. Jackson nodded. Yes, Jackson Miles. The counselor's voice was cold. You have broken several laws by entering restricted zones. Explain yourself. Jackson stood tall. I'm not here to cause trouble. I'm searching for missing Terrans and dangerous technology that could harm the galaxy. The other counselor stepped forward. And why should we believe a lone human over the Galactic Council records? Jackson met her gaze. Because the records are incomplete. And sometimes the Council hides things to protect itself. Zarvek felt a chill run down his spine. The human was bold, maybe even reckless. But there was truth in his words. The silver-skinned counselor folded her arms. Very well. You have 48 hours to prove your claims or be detained indefinitely. Jackson nodded. Fair enough. As the counselors left, Zarvek turned to Jackson. You have 2 days. Prove your mission is genuine. Jackson smiled. I will, and I'll need your help. Zarvek raised an eyebrow. My help. Jackson nodded. You're the only one here who can get me the data I need. Help me find the truth, and maybe we both can change the galaxy's future. The alien officer studied the human carefully. Despite all his doubts, something about Jackson's courage and honesty struck a chord. Very well, Jackson Miles. You have my attention. The Galactic Patrol Station hummed with activity, but in the interrogation room, time seemed to slow. Zarvek sat across from Jackson Miles, the human explorer whose calm confidence puzzled the alien officer. How did you manage to get this far into center space without being caught? Zarvek asked quietly. Jackson smiled, a little tired but still confident. I'm good at moving quietly. I watch the patrol patterns, listen to the environment, and most importantly, I use what I have. Zarvek leaned forward. Your survival kit. It helped you, didn't it? Jackson nodded. It's more than just tools. It's my lifeline. When you don't have backup, you learn to depend on your own skills and small gadgets. That little drone you saw, it scouts ahead, finds safe paths, and even records patrol routes. Zarvek looked impressed. It's hard to believe a human could avoid all the advanced sensors and patrols we have. Jackson shrugged. Maybe you underestimate humans. We survive by being adaptable, creative. We think in ways others don't. The alien officer's eyes narrowed. Tell me more. Jackson took a deep breath. On Earth, we faced tough challenges. Extreme weather, dangerous animals, harsh environments. We invented tools to survive. When humans went to space, we brought that same spirit. Our tech might not be the most powerful, but it's clever and reliable. Zarvek was silent, trying to imagine a species that could survive so well without heavy weapons or armor. Jackson continued. I studied your patrols and patterns before coming. The drone helped me map the safest paths, and the purifier kept me alive when I crossed toxic zones. Zarvek tapped his claw on the table thoughtfully. Your approach is different from galactic soldiers. We rely on force and overwhelming power. Jackson smiled. Sometimes brains beat brawn. Suddenly, the door hissed open and a junior officer entered with a datapad. Sir, we have new reports, the officer said. Zarvek took the datapad and scanned the screen. His eyes widened. Another human has been detected near the outer border, the officer said. They seem to be heading toward this station. Jackson raised an eyebrow. Looks like I'm not the only one out here. Zarvek frowned. We have to be cautious. If more humans are entering restricted zones, This could be a serious security threat. Jackson leaned back. Or maybe it's the start of something new. The officer left, and Xarvek and Jackson were alone again. Why do you think humans are risking this? Xarvek asked. Jackson shrugged. Because sometimes you have to take risks to find answers, to protect your own. The alien officer studied him. Your mission? To find the missing Terran scouts. What makes you think they're still alive? Jackson's eyes darkened. I don't know, but there are signs. Old transmissions, faint signals, and strange readings near the Forbidden Zone. Xarvek looked skeptical. You want to enter that zone? It's dangerous. Many have tried and failed. Jackson nodded. I know, but if those weapons or experiments are still active, they could harm many. The alien officer sighed. Very well, I will help you, but only because I want to understand why humans are so unpredictable. Jackson smiled warmly. Thank you, Xarvek. You won't regret it. Together, they prepared for the next step, entering a place no one dared to go. The airlock hissed open, releasing a rush of recycled station air, mixed with faint hints of machinery and metal. Xarvek and Jackson stepped cautiously into the corridor leading away from the interrogation room. The Galactic Patrol Station was massive, but the tension between the two was tighter than the walls. Jackson glanced at Xarvek and smiled. I know this station better than you might think. The alien officer raised an eyebrow. Is that so? Jackson tapped a small device on his wrist. A soft map glowed in front of them, highlighting hidden access points, maintenance tunnels, and security blind spots. Xarvek's eyes narrowed in surprise. How do you have this level of detail? Xarvek asked. Jackson shrugged. Let's say I'm good at finding things that aren't meant to be found. As they walked through a maintenance corridor, the lights suddenly flickered and went out. The hum of machines dropped to a low, ominous silence. Xarvek growled softly. Power failure in Sector 7. Security systems offline. Jackson smiled and pulled out his compact survival kit. From it, he took a small, multi-purpose tool that unfolded into a miniature welding and hacking device. Sparks flew as Jackson connected the device to a panel, fingers moving quickly and precisely. The power hummed back to life. Lights flickered on, security cameras rebooted, and emergency systems reset. Xarvek stared, impressed. You just fixed the power. Jackson nodded. Sometimes, all you need is the right tool and a little knowledge. The alien officer realized that Jackson was more than just a simple explorer. His skills went beyond survival. He had a deep understanding of technology, engineering, and improvisation. Continuing deeper into the station, Jackson led Xarvek to a small room filled with alien food synthesizers. Jackson tapped on a control panel, and within moments, a steaming cup of Earth coffee appeared on a tray. Xarvek's eyes widened in surprise. Coffee? What is this? Jackson grinned. It's what keeps humans going in tough situations. You should try it sometime. Xarvek hesitated, then took the cup carefully. The smell was strong and unfamiliar, but oddly comforting. He took a small sip and nearly coughed. It's different, he said, eyes watering. Jackson laughed. You'll get used to it. As they continued their exploration, Jackson's small drone zipped ahead, scouting the path and sending back live data to his wrist device. It detected patrol patterns, security systems, and environmental hazards. Xarvek realized that humans' reputation for unpredictability was well-deserved. Jackson's tools and quick thinking allowed him to navigate dangers that would have stopped many more powerful soldiers. Suddenly, the drone stopped and hovered near a sealed hatch marked with warning signs. Jackson studied the symbols. This is it, the entrance to the Forbidden Zone. Xarvek frowned. No one is allowed beyond this point. Jackson looked determined. That's why we have to be careful. Using a small hacking tool from his kit, Jackson worked on the hatch's security panel. Lights flashed red, then green, and with a hiss, The door slid open. They stepped into a dark tunnel, the air thick with dust and silence. The walls were scarred with old damage, as if from long-ago battles. Zarvek's tail flicked nervously. This place, it feels wrong. Jackson nodded. It's where the lost Terran scouts went, and maybe where the truth hides. As they moved deeper, Jackson used his equipment to scan for energy readings and life signs. The sensors picked up faint signals, old tech still active, but no living beings. Suddenly, a flicker of light caught Zarvek's eye. Hidden behind a cracked wall was a small panel, covered in alien markings. Jackson carefully wiped the dust away and activated the panel. A holographic map projected into the air, showing secret tunnels and hidden rooms beneath the station. "This is bigger than I thought," Jackson said quietly. Zarvek studied the map. "This technology, it's ancient. From before the Galactic Council was formed." Jackson looked up. "And dangerous. If it falls into the wrong hands, it could destroy entire planets." The alien officer realized that humans, for all their simple gear and odd habits, had a purpose greater than anyone expected. They sought to protect, to uncover truth, and to survive, not just for themselves, but for the galaxy. The bulge in Jackson's pants was more than a surprise. It was a symbol of human ingenuity and courage in a vast, uncertain universe. The deeper Jackson and Zarvek went into the old tunnels beneath the Galactic Patrol Station, the heavier the air felt. Dust floated in the faint light of Jackson's wrist lamp, and the sound of their footsteps echoed against cracked metal walls. Jackson carefully moved forward, holding his survival kit ready. "These tunnels haven't been used in decades," he said quietly, "but something here is still active." Zarvek's eyes scanned the shadows, tail twitching nervously. "You think the missing scouts left something behind?" Jackson nodded. "More than something. They left a warning." They reached a chamber filled with broken consoles and scattered data drives. Jackson knelt and picked up a cracked holodrive. He wiped it clean and connected it to his wrist device. Static filled the room, then a flickering image appeared, a Terran scout recording a message before disappearing. The scout's voice was weak but urgent. "Warning to any who find this. The weapon, the experiment, it must never be reactivated. It will bring destruction beyond measure." Zarvek's scales bristled. "This is why the Council banned this zone." Jackson's face hardened. "But someone is trying to bring it back." "Who?" Zarvek asked. "I don't know yet, but I intend to find out." Suddenly, the lights flickered, and the hum of machinery returned. The hidden weapon's power was still alive beneath them. Jackson pressed a button on his kit, and the small drone flew ahead, its blue light cutting through the dark tunnels. The drone's sensors picked up energy spikes near a sealed vault. Zarvek studied the readings. "That must be the source." Jackson nodded. "We need to see what's inside." Together, they approached the vault. Zarvek placed his claw on the control panel, but it locked tight. Jackson pulled out a small hacking tool from his kit. With steady hands, he worked on the panel, bypassing security codes with a mix of technology and intuition. The vault door slid open, revealing a dark chamber filled with strange devices and alien machinery covered in warning signs. Jackson moved closer, reading inscriptions on the walls. This was part of a war experiment, designed to control minds and bend wills. Zarvek's eyes widened. If it falls into the wrong hands, it could start another war. Jackson looked at the alien officer. "That's why I'm here. To stop it." Suddenly, a loud alarm blared. Zarvek growled. "Security breach. They know we're here." Jackson grabbed his kit and prepared for a fight, but Zarvek held up a claw. "No violence yet." The door behind them opened, and a group of galactic soldiers entered, weapons ready. Zarvek stepped forward. "This human is on a mission to protect the galaxy. Stand down." The lead soldier hesitated but lowered his weapon. Jackson looked at Zarvek gratefully. "Thanks for the backup." Zarvek nodded. I'm beginning to understand your kind. Together, they deactivated the weapon's core, preventing it from powering up again. As they left the chamber, Jackson looked back. The galaxy needs to remember what nearly destroyed it. Zarvek agreed. And humans are more than survivors. They are guardians. The silence in the old tunnels was heavy as Jackson and Zarvek made their way back toward the surface. The air was thick with dust and the faint smell of rusted metal. Even though they had deactivated the weapon's core, the weight of what they had found lingered between them. Jackson paused near a broken pipe, shining his light down a side passage. There's still more here, he said softly. The scouts left something else, something important. Zarvek narrowed his eyes. What are you looking for? Jackson pulled out a small data pad from his survival kit. Coordinates and information on an ancient beacon. The scouts sent transmissions from it before disappearing. The alien officer nodded. A beacon, hidden beneath the ruins. They followed the dim corridor until it opened into a large chamber. In the center stood a tall, slender device covered in strange symbols. It pulsed with a faint blue light, still active after all these years. Jackson stepped forward, carefully scanning the beacon. This is the last piece of the puzzle. The beacon can send messages across the galaxy, warnings, coordinates, anything. Zarvek reached out and touched the device. Why was this hidden? Jackson shook his head. Because what the scouts found was dangerous. The beacon was meant to warn others about the forbidden weapon. Suddenly, the device hummed louder. Lights flashed, and a holographic message appeared in the air. The image showed a Terran scout, his voice steady but serious. This is a warning to all. The weapon is dormant, but its influence remains. We must guard against those who seek to awaken it. Trust no one outside your circle. And Jackson exchanged a look. The message was clear. The danger was not over. Jackson turned to Zarvek. We have to get this message to the Galactic Council. Everyone needs to know. The alien officer hesitated. The Council has already ignored warnings. They prefer peace over truth. Jackson's jaw tightened. Then we'll have to make them listen. They carefully packed the beacon's data into Jackson's survival kit. As they prepared to leave, the tunnel shook with a sudden explosion. Dust and debris fell from the ceiling. Zarvek growled. We're not alone. From the shadows, armed figures appeared. Mercenaries sent to capture or destroy any evidence. Jackson grabbed his kit, pulling out a compact stun device. Zarvek drew his energy blade. The battle was quick but intense. Jackson's gadgets gave him an edge, disabling the mercenaries one by one. Zarvek's strength and precision kept the attackers at bay. When the last mercenary fell, silence returned. Jackson wiped sweat from his brow. They don't want the truth to come out. Zarvek nodded. We must be careful. The galaxy is full of those who fear change. Together, they made their way back to the surface, carrying secrets that could change the fate of many worlds. The Galactic Patrol Station was quiet that evening. Outside, distant stars shimmered through reinforced windows, but inside, tension filled the command room. Zarvek sat beside Jackson Miles, the human who had surprised everyone with his calm courage and clever tools. Jackson carefully opened his survival kit, the same one that had first caused suspicion. The small folded device now held the secrets that could shift the galaxy's future. Zarvek leaned closer. The Council will review the data you brought. What do you expect? Jackson smiled softly. I expect them to see humans differently. We aren't just survivors or explorers. We are problem solvers. Our strength isn't just in weapons, but in brains and heart. The alien officer nodded thoughtfully. Your bulge. The strange kit you carried. It was more than a tool. It was a symbol. Jackson laughed quietly. I never thought my pants would make such a difference. The door hissed open, and a group of Galactic Council members entered. Their faces were serious as they took their seats. The lead counselor, a tall being with glowing eyes, addressed the room. "We have reviewed the evidence. The weapon was real, and the scout's warnings were true." Jackson spoke clearly. "The galaxy has been ignoring a danger that could destroy many worlds. We must act before it's too late." A murmur passed through the council. Xarvek stood. "This human's mission saved us from a hidden threat. His courage and resourcefulness proved invaluable." The lead counselor nodded slowly. "Perhaps we underestimated humans, their technology, and will are unique." Jackson looked at Xarvek. "We have to work together, humans and aliens, to protect our future." The council agreed to form a special task force, including humans, to monitor and control dangerous technologies. Later, Xarvek walked with Jackson through the station corridors. "You changed my view of humans," he said sincerely. Jackson smiled. "Sometimes, all it takes is one small thing. The right tool, the right idea, to make a big difference." Xarvek glanced at Jackson's survival kit. That bulge was the key. Jackson laughed. "I guess it was." As they looked out at the stars, they knew this was only the beginning. The galaxy was vast and full of mysteries, but with courage, intelligence, and trust, humans and aliens could face any challenge together.